it makes a toxic environment, I think, for bands, especially the pay-to-play scene is huge in Hollywood, and it's really hard to be a supporting band right these days, unless you have friends that are in higher places. It helps.
This is A Band's Life, a video podcast where bands share their experiences so we can all better navigate the music industry. Hey, welcome back from the holiday break here. It's 2019 now, and we got some more of these podcasts rolling. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. Please let us know how we're doing, and any questions that you'd want us to ask or any questions you have for any of the bands, go ahead and drop them in the comments, or even old-fashioned email works. abandslifepodcast@gmail.com. This week we have Heart Like War. They're a band that actually just went through a pretty big lineup change, as well as had a recent tour to Japan. So they're going to talk a bunch about that. Oh, hey, also, I'm starting 2 Spotify playlists, and there might be more in the future. One's going to be just the playlist for bands that have been on the videos here in the podcast, and another playlist is just going to be bands that I just find some great music from. So I'm going to be trying to update these things weekly. If you know of any bands that you think should be on the podcast, give me a shout. I'd love to have them on. But without further ado, Heart Like War.
Never too late to start over. Chase these broken dreams to make something of me. I'll be the one to take these broken pieces of my soul.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I play bass in Heart Like War.
I'm David. I play guitar and I sing in Heart Like War.
I'm Anthony. I play drums.
And the people next door playing Heart Like War.
They're our
This
neighbors.
is the squalor in which we practice in. No, it's a really nice room. It's been great the entire time we've been here.
This interview is a sacrifice. Chris is ditching his band practice next door for this.
I mean, it's
Side project.
actually really big. Like, this
Yeah.
room is very large
Yeah.
compared to, like, the other places I've been in. Like,
We fit a few bands in here too, so I mean, it's like that
we
we're missing
share.
a lot of gear
Oh,
that's
okay.
usually in here.
That's
right
good.
Yeah.
now. So it makes it nicer for this, but
Yeah.
there's usually a couple more amps and things like that around. There's another drum kit
No.
beyond that one as well. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that happens in this room.
Heart Like War is a pop-punk band from Los Angeles that consists of David, Chris, and Anthony, reformed in 2018 with a new sound and new direction. So you guys are pretty much brand new as of 2018.
Yeah.
So, like, everything that I looked up
It's reformed.
is probably nothing to do with what...
Pretty much.
Did you guys start from the bottom, like, with all your socials and stuff, too? Did you, like, erase things, or...?
Well, when I met Anthony, we kind of, Heart Like War was an idea that was always there off and on. 2009, I was in college. So the band really kind of was not really active as a full-time project. It was more for fun. And it was just always kind of like, when we have time, we'll get to it. And so when I found Anthony, he's like, what are you doing? He's like, your social media is garbage. So he was right, though, because we were definitely not approaching it as a professional, in a professional way. So Anthony helped with the rebranding, the restructuring, and getting things right so that we had a legit media presence versus we're just posting at midnight for no reason because it's fun.
Just basically gave like our social medias like a facelift. Just kind of clear out the excess mess and just keep the things that are important, things that are like worth looking back on. Just kind of like cleaned up everything.
So would you say that your influences are still the same?
A lot of people, I think each of us probably have something to say. A lot of people come up to me and say, you guys sound like MXPX or the Ataris or even some Slick Shoes influence in there. And those are the bands, I grew up listening to. So definitely those are some of my main influences. And, we're actually blessed to open up for Slick Shoes this year with Craig's brother and House of Blues. It was pretty fun. And yeah, like those are just like the bands that shaped who I am and what people say we sound like. I don't know what people ask you or tell you we sound like.
Some people say like early All Time Low or like Alistair or like Better Luck Next Time and stuff like that, like stuff around those lines. But I try to add like a lot of double kick kind of stuff to our patterns and stuff like that, so it kind of gives it like, because I grew up on like Set Your Goals and 4 Year Strong, so I kind of like that stuff and I try to incorporate that into like a simpler tone that we have.
So a little bit like easycore even?
Yeah, I'm really a big easycore fan, so like I try to like add in as much unnecessary things as possible.
I missed that whole easycore thing. I
Ah,
don't know if it
dude,
was, my kids were starting to grow up like at that time, and I was like, I came back like way after it was over with, like last year. And I'm like, what? I missed this. Why would I love this crap? Like,
Yeah,
'cause-
dude, like With the Punches, like all those bands, like they were just amazing. Set Your Goals like tore it up, and I when Newfound Glory made that big comeback after coming home, it was just, dude, I was exactly why I wanted to start playing music like this.
Yeah. Would you consider a day to remember easy core?
I would say like Homesick was really easy core. Like for those who have heart was a little more on the heavier side, but Homesick was like the perfect medium between like pop punk and like heavier.
I think like as far as personal influence and stuff like that, I've got the most generic ones here. So I mean, I've got like Blink-182, Green Day, Sum 41, Mest, and stuff like that I grew up on, and I never really kind of evolved out of. And there's other bands I listen to, and I have a lot more eclectic taste now. I've played in country, and I've done all kinds of weird stuff over the years, but really my roots come back to playing with a pick and playing some of the most simple stuff that I possibly can, and just having a fun time jumping around. So, I mean, that's me personally. As far as us as a band, we really kind of have a broad sound within the pop punk vein. We kind of touch on everything that's nostalgic, and I think there's some new stuff and some new feels that we have as well. So it's really kind of a nice show for us to be able to put on for people.
Yep.
So you've had, well, at least from the original iteration of Heart Like War, you've had 3 labels, right? Would I be correct in that?
I think so. Go ahead and shoot them out. I'll let you know.
Indie, Thumper, and now what's the Sunlight? Was it that? You
Yes,
saw?
yes, that's correct.
Can you tell me a little bit about those.
So Thumper Punk Records was like that first helping hand. They helped distribute our last record, Fired Up, which came out in 2016. That was mastered. It was recorded in Orange County locally, but then Mike Herrera, MXPX, mastered it at Monkey Trench Studios. So that was cool. And then Thumper Punk was like, "Hey, we like what you're doing. We're gonna release your record." I'm like, "Sure." We went on a tour that year, West Coast run. It was fun. Came back, and then Thumper Punk can only help so much. So that didn't really last too long. We kind of got scooped up again by Indie Vision Music, and they released a single for us called "What We Do," featuring Leonor Ortega-Till from Five Iron Frenzy. She played sax on it. So he promoted that. He got us on the radio, which was cool, Broken FM, and then we got charted on Billboard, which was like really crazy. It all happened really fast. And then at that time, I was meeting Anthony and Chris coming in, and then Indie Vision was about to put out another EP for us, but then last minute it didn't work out because they were going to take on less bands for whatever reason. They were downsizing. It's not a real active label anymore. So it just kind of like slipped through, and then Anthony can talk about how we found Sunlight Records.
So I go to Japan every year to go visit my brother who lives out there, and I basically hit up some local shows, met some really cool people, made some contact with some friends out here from over there, and there was this band called Wait for Sunlight, and they were just this amazing pop punk easycore band that was out there. I showed them my stuff from my other band, they liked it, and when I told them I was in a new band playing drums, they checked it out. They loved. I sent them some of the demos that we had for this EP. They loved the stuff, and they were just like, "Hey, we would love to like have you guys come out here." So they put us on their label, and they set up a whole tour for us out there. And so the label was only like 1 or 2 bands at the time, but now their roster is consistently growing now, and it's like the bands that are on there that we're playing shows with are just ridiculously good.
They're awesome.
And so the fact that we were on like the label with them, they were like amazing. They treated us really good while we're out there. They made sure we're really taken care of, and like as far as labels go, that's something that doesn't happen that much out here anymore. You know, like labels are just like whatever people do and stuff like that. Over there, it's like they really care about like giving you the best experience you can while you're out there. So I think as far as labels goes, like Sunlight Records was the best decision we probably made.
And you went to, it was Japan, right?
Yeah,
we just went to Japan.
What I know of Japan is they have the price of CDs is set.
Yeah.
So, and everybody buys CDs there.
Yeah.
So there's like a funny little area there that like still buys a lot of music. So there's a lot of money that's still kind of flowing in that general vicinity there. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool that you guys got into that. That's actually exciting. Like I saw you guys, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
They're going to Japan.
It's exciting.
What's going on with that?
Yeah, it all happened
That's
really fast. It was really cool, and we did it based upon like just the music we had set up already for the EP, and it just worked out really well. It was exactly what they wanted to hear. They just loved the sound of it, and I made good connections while I was out there, and it just all happened like overnight practically.
Yeah. So we had a good tour run. It was fun. We met a lot of cool people, a lot of cool bands. We got to see a lot of Tokyo. We got to see a lot of outside Tokyo too. So it was just a really neat experience. Yeah, we just took off. We took off from our jobs, went on tour in Japan, and now we're back. So it was good. It's really good.
So what are they going to be doing for you guys going forward, or was that just for that like little tour?
They're going to be distributing our they're going to be making their own version, like Japanese version of our EP.
Yeah.
Not like, I mean, like just like the booklet and all the
Yeah.
artwork and stuff like that. They're going to do a Japanese version of that, and they're going to put it in stores out there, and they're going to push our music as much as possible, because they are going to invite us over at the end of the end of 2019. We're going to be probably heading back. We can have to start out there, but we want to do like a little bit longer run, and just kind of see what else we can do to take that to the next level.
Cool. So they're like repressing what you did. The last EP that you did, was it in June, right?
July.
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 Sorry.
Yeah.
So
That was cool.
In July?
Yeah, it was in July.
It came out in July?
Yeah,
I
it
think
came
that's
out
what
in
I saw.
July. It was July.
That's my
It's
July
officially
15th, right?
released after we did our first show.
July 7th, I thought. It was July 7th.
No, it couldn't have been.
Yeah, I swear it was July 7th. That's when it was.
Nah, I have to.
Yeah, dude, look at it. Okay, well, I looked it up.
I have to look this up, because now I'm confused.
So
I
Tower
thought it was like 3 months ago.
So Tower Records is huge, actually, out there in Japan. And when we went out there, it was really nostalgic for us, because I remember going to Tower Records in Glendale, near LA, and I used to buy my records there. That's where I discovered Fall Out Boy or Magic Romance back in the day, or those bands that I used to listen to. And like, it's cool to go to another country, and it's just like, it's a time capsule. It's like Tower Records never ended or went out of business. And so it's cool that they actually thrive on music there. There's 3 stories of Tower Records there, and like every floor had like a different kind of genre or music origin. And so they had the American rock section and all that. So it's going to be exciting to like know that you can buy our EP in Japan and Tower Records out there. It's just pretty cool.
It was in August.
Yeah. It was in August.
It was in August.
Dude, we were pushing for a July release, and it ended up being August.
Yeah, it ended up being August.
I swore we
Really
released it
at the end
in
of July.
July.
We played our first
We made
show.
released a video in July.
See, I met these guys in May.
June.
I met these guys in June.
We recorded in June, beginning of June.
So we met in May.
Just edit all this.
So,
No, this is good.
so we met in May, and then between May and now, like we released an EP. We played a bunch of shows. We did Joshua Fest. We played Northern California.
Super long story short, we met, and a month later we had an EP already almost out.
And went on tour in Japan in less than a year, which is
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
So did you guys just get together and just write a ton of stuff, or did you guys have a little bit of prepared in between?
Well,
We only rescued one song.
we basically when I first joined the band, I heard Fired Up. There was like 3 songs I liked on it, but those 3 songs that I liked were like really good songs, and the other ones I just didn't really connect with as much.
Yeah.
But there's this one song called Screaming that we have, and it's like an amazing song, and I just felt like if this song was taken to the next level, it would be even better. So I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do for the rest of the EP, but I know this is to be that one song that makes it on there.
Yeah.
Because it just had a really catchy chorus, it had really good like guitar lines. I really dug the song.
Cool.
So when we made the EP, we put that on there.
We just kind of put it on the new twist, because if you compare the Fired Up Screaming to Start Over EP Screaming, you'll have fun. It's night and day, really. If you listen to it, it's pretty night and day.
And
So, yeah.
and then the other songs, me and David were just sending songs over to each other, and we're like, hey, like this is the idea that I have, this is the idea that he had. We just go through like that. We sent it over to Chris. We went back and forth, and we just kind of like went through all the songs, like saying, okay, these are the songs we want to use, and we just like hit the ground running and just tracked them all at my house, and just it worked out really well.
So you guys did the recording yourselves, even?
Yeah.
We
I
recorded ourselves in the bedroom.
I actually did it in my like 8x8 bedroom, covered in cat hair, with the skills that like John Morales from Audio Mech Productions like taught me and stuff, and I learned how to do a lot of that stuff. And so I was able to track that over. I sent it over to my buddy John. He did an amazing job mixing and mastering it. Sent it right over to us. He knew we were on a time schedule. We had a big festival show coming up, so we wanted to make sure we had it before then. So it was just back and forth every night, me just editing and doing a bunch of crap, sending it back to them, making sure everything was good. And that's the whole thing.
We recorded that EP really fast. Like, I live in Redlands, and he's in LA at the time, so I would drive 3-4 times a week, whatever it took to finish that. I think I recorded vocals in 1 week or less.
2 days.
Yeah, like 2 days. So yeah, it was pretty
I
fast.
do want to point out too, while we were doing the EP and Anthony was working on doing all the editing for that too, like in his downtime between that and work, he was also working on the music video all at the same time, kind of putting things together.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was kind of really
He was the
working
muscle.
hard in several different directions. So doing that. So he did a great job. He hasn't touched me. He really was really killing it for us to get things rolling. So it's really cool to see that he was working that hard, and it's something that we're really thankful for.
So in short, long story short, Chris did the least work, Anthony did the most work.
I recorded bass tracks in literally one day, and it just got in a room that just kept getting hotter and hotter, and it wasn't going to get any cooler. And he's like looking down at my arm, like, it shouldn't shine like this playing bass stationary.
No, he was getting mad. Me and David finished really early, and we started playing Madden. Was it Madden? What was it? What were we playing?
It was Madden.
Halo.
Yeah,
Halo. We're playing Halo. No, was it Halo? No, but like when Start Over, the idea came up, as soon as we came up with the name of what we wanted to call the EP, I was just getting into Photoshop. I was just getting into Premiere Pro. I was just getting into all these things. I'm a photographer. I try to dip my finger in as much things as I can. So I was like, hey, I have an idea for a music video. Hey, I have an idea for album art. Hey, I have an idea for what we should do this for, how we should make the layout for this. And I just did everything within a couple of weeks, and I was just like working like nonstop, and like it was fun
fast.
because exactly what I wanted it to come out. It came out exactly the way I did, but better, and like so it worked out.
That's cool. That's actually at one point in time. That's one of my questions here. Is like, do you guys actually do your own like video and your own audio? You do your own mixing.
Done everything. That music
Graphic
video.
design?
Yeah, he does the graphic design.
I do my own jumping and stuff on stage.
Anthony
I'm not
does
a CGI anymore.
all the logos and videos.
No, I picked
that.
up all that stuff through work, and I picked it up through my like ex-girlfriend who showed me all that stuff, how to do it, and it just it was something that I wanted to do and have control over, because I hate when you have to like send something to someone and it's not exactly what you wanted it to be. So I'll sit there like on my little like pad and just draw out our designs for everything, and it was great having like my hands on the steering wheel on this, and with these two guys in the trunk. So it was like...
I do want to say, the excitement we saw on his face the day that these things turned out behind us to scrim. It's like, he was just like, I didn't know this was going to look this good, this blown up. This is amazing.
Yeah, I like the way it came out.
Dude, when we played Joshua Fest up north in that festival, they put that logo up on the projector, so we had it behind us, plus the scrims. It looked pretty sweet. And then they put the lights to match. It was pretty nice.
I
It was
often
impactful.
wonder why bands don't do that more often. It's not that expensive.
I don't like
Yeah.
to outsource. Yeah, I don't think. I think if you could do it yourself, do it. Like if you're capable of doing it, like we all have computers, we all have ways of doing it. We just rather
Well, I was
do
talking more about like even just having the banners alone, like having something on stage with you guys.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why bands don't do that. It's not that expensive. Or
Yeah.
having like I don't know, is your merch booth something similar? Do you have like something nice set up?
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
something
we have
nice set up
stuff.
for a merch booth. We have like we try like the thing about it is that like it's not your band doesn't end at your performance. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
it's all your visuals. It's all
Yeah.
about your look and how you present things. You know, I'm sitting here arranging buttons to make sure they all face the same way,
Yeah.
because I'm just like I care about those little things in the band to make sure that everything looks the way it should.
Yeah, branding is really important, because without that, I mean, people are going to forget there's a band. You know, like if they start pairing Heart Like War with some kind of color or some kind of logo, it really does help people remember, I think. So
That's cool. I like that you brought up branding, because like I was going to ask you like how much you consider what you do as a business, because I think a lot of bands do not come at it from a business aspect whatsoever. Do you guys take stuff out for taxes? Do you keep your miles in?
Yeah, so when I met these guys, obviously before that, everything was more of a hobby. Now I looked at these guys and I'm like, we're both equally passionate. We want to make this like a career, essentially. And this year was the first year we actually made money and had to claim taxes, because at the House of Blue show, when we opened up for Slick Shoes, it was a legit show where we got paid. So that was a cool experience for us to start learning the business, how venues work, how you get paid, how you have to report taxes, and then just taking that knowledge and saying, okay, we have a business, we have a small business, but let's see how we can start rolling forward and make things work. So before we went to Japan, we had a plan. How much money do you think we're going to make out there? How are we going to budget this? How are we going to, so just so things would be cost effective and work for us, so we're not, we're very much planners and responsible. So we're going to go in with a plan. And that's the business mindset is, you want to go in with a successful plan. We're not just going to say yes to every opportunity, because we have to be mindful of our time and, as well. We don't want to do like pay to play and lose a bunch of money all the time either. So, yeah.
We're trying to be smarter with the moves that we have, so we're making sure they count.
So do you guys do a lot of shows since you started back up?
Actually, we
did a good
They've
solid
done it.
stint, and then we had to
Did a
take a
run.
break because there was an injury ailment.
Oh yeah, I
And we
almost
had-
died.
and we came-
I
We came
forgot.
back. We got 2 shows in locally before we headed out to Japan and did 5 more. So what we've done probably right
20
around
shows?
7 to 10 shows.
Probably
something
done
like-
more than that.
We have done. Have we?
Probably done like at least close to 20 shows
No, we haven't. Done
since we
20.
met. Since we met.
Not 20.
How many you
have
think?
we?
15?
I have no idea, but
Well, actually, it's all
15
listed on heartlikewar.com. You can look at our show section.
I have
It's
been
all
keeping
saved
track.
there. You can count it. It's on
Counting
there.
past 4 is not my forte. That's some
heartlikewar.com.
music references.
Click on shows. They're all listed there. You can count them.
well, like I said,
They're all
we're,
there.
we're very selective about the shows we do because we just don't want to play like random dive bars at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday.
Exactly.
So what we're trying to do is we're being very selective about the shows we do and make sure that the shows we do play, we try to promote them as much as possible.
Yeah.
Get as many people out and make sure that the show can benefit us in a way where we're not losing anything really.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to pay your dues and stuff like that, but I feel like we all like paid our dues in like our previous times. So like us being able to like have that reputation where we're able to open up for bigger bands or have better opportunities because of that. Like I feel like that was a really good like strategy we had when it
Yeah.
came to like approaching shows and stuff.
Yeah. And I had an infection and I played through it. So even if you're sick, like that shouldn't stop you from playing a show.
Yeah.
just we give this band 110%, and I think we're just going to continue to do that. We just all our blood, sweat, and tears are going to go into it. So.
Do you guys ever butt heads?
All the time. All the time.
So yeah, we're. I don't even know what to like talk about.
Really? Never. We're like brothers.
We're like brothers who fight. You
I
know?
equally hate them both. I just hate Chris a little less.
That's because you live with me and I help
I live
out with
with
your
you.
cat.
Wait, why do you hate Chris a little less? This is new. It's a new development.
So I help
It's a
out with his
Phil
cat.
moment. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
He takes care of my cat. No,
I go in and I touch pickles
we have,
twice.
We have disagreements because we're all kind of set in our ways. You
Yeah.
know, like me, I do things a certain way. Everyone does their stuff a certain way, but we don't always see eye to eye. And sometimes it can be like a little, hey, you know, like we have to like call each other out on certain parts.
Yeah.
But like after all that stuff that happened between all of us and stuff, like we tried to like come out of it with like a better understanding of each other.
Yeah.
Because it's like the thing about band, and people don't realize, it's like it's being in a band is harder than being in a relationship because it's like having 2 separate
That's true.
relationships inside of a band. So you have to like treat it as like, okay, I have to be able to get 2 different mindsets and be able to see eye to eye with both of them at 2 different times at the exact same place.
Yeah.
And so
That's true.
it's really hard to be in a band. And I always saw it as like you're gonna hate certain parts, you're gonna love certain parts, but you have to be able to work through it. And so we do bump heads, we do get in arguments, but we never like cross lines, and we never try to like do something that's gonna like we can't come back from. You know?
So in other words, it's not so bad. Our highs are definitely higher than our lows. I feel like we have a lot of highs in this.
But when
band.
it's low, man, it's low. When it's low, it's definitely
It
low.
helps. I think that's one of the things with us being a 3-piece band that helps a lot of too is that we're not constantly butting heads as much as other bands where you have to get there's one of your friends' bands has like 7 people in it or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think they're like a ska outfit.
Ska band.
So you get into something like that, then you're heck being in the same key as everybody else has got to be darn near impossible. So it's
Yeah, 3 opinions are hard enough. I can't imagine.
I don't know how Slipknot does it, man. They just, like, they just, like, hate each other.
They don't
Yeah.
like most of those drums. That's how.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I recorded some like metal band once, and he had 2 kick drums, and he had like 8 or 9 toms. And I looked at him and was like, "We're doing 2 songs. Do you hit all of these?" And he's like, "I use every single one of them."
Yeah.
And so like I mic'd up everything. No, he used 3 to toms. And I was like, "You a-hole."
Yeah.
Okay, back to booking shows a little bit. I think I missed a little bit in there. Do you guys work with promoters like at all, or do you guys promote like your own shows?
We have worked with promoters. It's not always. It's contingent on that. It's like it just depends on the situation. Like every show is different. Like we've played festivals, we've played bars, we've played bar and grills. We've played different venues. So depending on the venue, it's always going to be a different approach. We always have the same mindset, but the people we deal with are always a little bit. So it just depends on the situation. There's shows where we are not paid to play them, but we do benefit from the press or the promotion that they give us, and so we'll play festivals. We won't get paid necessarily to do it, but we do get a lot of exposure and we play in front of a lot of people, so that's helpful.
I
to
think,
get our music out
I think promoters now have changed from what it used to be when I was younger. When I was younger, like they were just throwing shows at everyone. Now it's like you get promoters hitting you up saying, "Hey man, I love your new album." I'm like, dude, we haven't even released a song yet. And they're like, "Hey, yeah, man, I'd love to have your band come play for pre-sale." Like, and pre-sale's like 35 tickets at like $15 each on a Tuesday. And yeah, man, it'll be a great opportunity for you guys. And so it sucks when you have to do stuff like that, because the moment you show disinterest, they just like toss you over to the side and be like, all right, well, next person. And it's like, but there's this one guy named Gibby. He has this thing called Sweaty Palms Production.
Oh, yeah.
This guy like puts his own money into like shows. He like makes sure that all the bands have pizza, like just little tiny things like that, man. This guy's an amazing dude. And I played a lot of shows with him before. Like, he sets up the best shows. He always looks after the bands, makes sure they go home with gas money. And like, I wish our community and our scene out here worked like that, because we need stuff like that.
Some venues just don't care, especially in Hollywood. They really spit you out. I remember playing Whiskey A Go Go, and we made them $600-700 that night. We made them for selling tickets and all that. And at the end of our set, they just kicked it to the curb and be like, "Get out." You know, it's just like there's no appreciation for what we did there, and they're just like, "Oh, good, we got your money. Finish your set and leave." It's just cold and it's not inviting. It makes a toxic environment, I think, for bands, especially the pay to play scene is huge in Hollywood, and it's really hard to be a supporting band right these days, unless you have friends that are in higher places. It helps a lot, you know.
So when you do work with some venues and whatnot, do they have like a gatekeeper there? Do they kind of have someone that's only allowing people with like a certain amount of social media to be able to come? Or is it really just kind of like a pay to play, like if you can show up, well, we'll let you play?
If you have a pulse, they'll take money from you. Like they don't like, it's not like you had to have a presence or something like that. Like it's just like, hey, if they can make money off you and you can pay them for something, they'll like that. But I don't want to speak ill of anyone, because it is like a business, and they have, you know, mouths to feed themselves. But at the same time, it's like, it's more of like they get more out of it than we do. So kind of situation. So it's a little discouraging to be like, do we really want to do this? Like we have to be smart about the moves we make. And usually the deals that the promoters give us are not really the best deals we could be making and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you get anything out of the pay to play stuff, or is it just really just kind of kick you to the curb? You don't get any money?
No, it's not like it used to be. Before you bring people, you used to be able to make money all the time. Now it's just more of like you'd be lucky if they validate your parking, man. Like,
actually, when we did a CD release show, I won't name the place, but like I remember we brought a lot of people that night. We probably made them, you know, a few $100, maybe a couple $100, I don't know. But like, you know, you got to think about the bar, the tickets. And we only, what did they give you? Like something stupid, like $10 or something?
Yeah, we actually brought...
we brought a lot of people too.
Like, we brought a lot of people to that show, and we had another band play that were, you know, we were friends with and stuff, and we had a good amount of people there, and we like walked away with like $12.
Yeah, they're like, here's your cut. It's like $12.
And I'm like, dude, they're like, after the first 5 people, you keep the rest. They were like, oh, after the first 5 people, you keep the rest of the money. And we're like, okay, cool. So we get there, we're like $12. I'm like, wait, how many people did you think we brought here? And
there was a lot of people there, so it's like,
exactly, and it's
we
like
had a full place. So,
but it's like you get cut short on those things like that. So we don't try to hold our breath and be like, oh yeah, we're expected to get paid from this. Like we just walk over to every situation saying, hey, we're gonna play. We might make money, we might not. Oh well, you know.
And we just love to play.
That's why we have jobs. I mean, it's right now.
At the end of the day, we have jobs,
Well, speaking of jobs, what do you guys do?
Who wants to go?
I guess I'll go first. I work in lumber remanufacturing right now. I'm a production scheduler, so my mind most of the time is focused on logistics and trying to make things happen and connect A to B. So when I get done with work, I'm pretty fried.
Yeah. And then I'm a marriage family therapist. I've been working in mental health for 7 years. And so I do a lot of therapy. I work with a lot of foster youth right now and stuff. And yeah, I love doing therapy.
I work in media production. I'm like a journalist. So I do that, and I do photography and stuff like that.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool. Pays the bills, feeds my cat.
Do you guys have you had or do you currently have like any kind of manager, or are you guys just doing it yourself? Everything?
We take on pretty much all the stress ourselves. We don't really like trying to I feel like if we had a manager, it would be like another person to have to deal with, and the idea of having a manager is like beautiful, because it like takes off a lot of things that we have to take care of.
Right.
But at the same time, it's just us three. We just kind of deal with the booking, deal with the production, deal with all the shows. And all like the funds and stuff. Like,
Yeah, like we work 9 to 5s, but we don't let that stop us. Like we work overtime in this band. You know, there's nights where we clock out at 5. Okay, we gotta drive an hour to lock out. We gotta practice. We put in the work, and you know, we're really dedicated. So management is a great idea, and I think it's something that we're open to. But we'd all have to be on the same page for it for sure. But for now, what we're doing is working, and we're pretty much self-managing at this point. So.
Well, how well do you guys kind of keep up with social media? I mean,
Well, we
don't
have a
ask
plan.
Chris that.
Don't ask Chris
I'm
that.
the worst person in the world at social media. I kind of bowed out of it probably 5 years ago when I left doing music in Nashville, and I just kind of had like a soft social presence with friends and things like that for the most part. And that's really all I do to maintain my personal stuff. I mean, anybody that wants to interact with me, you're welcome to do so. I mean, I'm happy to talk, but I don't really share a whole lot of my life on social media or things I'm doing personally. But anytime we have something that we put out, I try to share as much as I can and make that presence out there. But outside of that, I don't personally deal with a lot of social media.
Yeah, Anthony and I are kind of we're the ones responsible for that. We keep it up.
I work in social media, so I know the importance of like posting, and I know when you have to post and the things you have to post and the quality and stuff, and like. So like we're not posting a picture of a cheeseburger at like 2 a.m. and be like, hey,
exactly.
like our band, we have a show coming up. Like we try to make smart about our social media choices, but it's like I like to like give that kind of like insight to like my life and his life and Chris's life, and I like to like in Japan the whole time I was shooting like stories and videos to try to keep people like interested in what we're doing, and I was getting flooded with messages. Oh, that looks great, or that looks cool. Oh my god, it looks so fun, and like I love that. Like I love people when they like react positively, negatively, anything about our music or anything about what we do in our lives. Like it's really fun to do.
Yeah, we just put up some tour blogs. If you want to go to youtube.com/heartlikewar, we have Japan day 1 through 5. We kind of made a little summary of each day, so people could kind of follow us along what we did out there. So they can watch that if they want to. It's already out there.
which one of the media sites you think is the best for kind of getting out to bands or getting out to?
It used to be Facebook, but now it's Instagram. You know, Instagram has really been holding it up, like with like their promotions and stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, like Facebook, you know, like unless the person's literally following your page, and you're subscribed to your page, they're not like seeing half the stuff. Instagram,
I think it's less than that. I think it's like somewhere around 3 to 12%, depending.
Yeah, and it used, but back then, man, it used to be like the thing to do. Like that was that. But like now, it's like we have Instagram, and that's working really well because it's it's easy to get people to interact with that because they're on that more than anything. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's using Zynga anymore.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
nobody's following me.
I feel like a lot of people that I talk to, they're like, "Oh, I saw you guys on YouTube. I saw your music video, or I heard you guys on Spotify on a playlist of friends of mine, or I saw you guys on Facebook or Instagram." So those are the main sources where we really promote. Twitter is actually really big in Japan. So when we got back from our tour, we noticed that our Twitter had a lot of new likes, and it was a lot of tweets, and so that was cool. So yeah, I mean, it really depends, but for the most part, those are the mains that we work on.
I feel like most bands overlook YouTube, like completely.
Yeah,
like they might put like their music video up there,
Yeah.
but like you guys, I saw with the Japan thing, you did quite a bit of like pickup from where you had the tour. So it's like, oh, that's awesome that they're actually picking up. But the YouTube, most bands actually don't do that.
I was up till 4 a.m. doing those, but it was worth it.
It was a really good idea. It was a really good idea that David had to like make blog videos and stuff like that. But it's like we're like humans, man. We're visual people. Like we love visuals and stuff like that. I feel like if I could connect like a music video to a song, I appreciate it much more. I wouldn't. So if we had visuals to what we're doing, like the videos and updates and stuff like that, I think that's just more people to see our faces and be like, hey, they put a face to a name to a sound. And it works out pretty well. Yeah,
and I really liked growing up. I really liked watching those like True Hollywood Story things or True Life, on MTV, or like they would follow these bands. And so to me, I really like the video journal aspect of it. It's just fun. It's fun for us to remember, and also to like just share that experience with people. Like I don't like to hoard my experiences. I like to share them, and so YouTube's a great way to do that.
I think over the course of those 5 days too, on the blog videos, it was fun to watch kind of how everything kind of like slowly kind of like became less and less uncomfortable. It's like when we first got there, I wasn't with them yet. I flew on a different flight, but when they first got there, they got greeted with a TV crew for a TV show in Japan. And when they walked up, there's a side shot in your blog, and it's just like you two just look like you're stiff and just straight up the entire way up to the camera. More him than you, because it's his first time in Japan.
I mean, I've never been on a TV like that.
Yeah, so he's just like I'm here. I'm at, like in his mind, I just see like I'm at Disneyland. Wow!
I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Can I wipe my face?
I don't know what to do with anything. And like as the time kind of went on, it just became more and more natural. It's like, we are
there's a
here.
TV there,
We
camera there.
exist here all of a sudden. It's okay, all right. Oh, that food again. That same food we saw yesterday. Different place, huh? Okay, getting used to this. So.
Well, like, because the camera was like following us around, like I was eating, and I was like, they're filming us while I'm eating. Hey, like I'm eating food right now. It's just like interesting.
It was fun for that to be able to see kind of how things kind of unfolded as the trip went on, and us to be able to get to share that. So I mean, definitely a good thing for bands to be able to do. I mean, if they're on tour or they're doing something over the course of a couple of days together, to kind of share that adventure. That is a good format for that for sure.
I think that's missing a lot. A lot of bands, they're you don't really see too much out, and I feel like we should put more content out there because it's just another way for people to discover you and like follow what your life and what you guys people are up to, which I find interesting. So.
The last band, I think it was Goldview that I had on. They were just talking like, "Oh, look, we made a gingerbread house," and I was like, "Why didn't you like video that?" Like, it's like just doing silly things like, "Hey, we as a band did this." It's like, well, why don't you update?
We all have
do
phones.
little videos, little phones, whatever, because people like to see like into the world, like, "Oh, this is funny."
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember you had you said you had Jeff the girl on one of your songs,
That's right.
and one of your earlier songs. Like, I feel like Five Iron Frenzy did a lot of that very well, where they connected with their fan base.
Yeah,
where like they're just goofy and people liked it. They like to watch it and see what they were up to.
They still have a hate group right now on Facebook that's just very popular. So they hate on themselves on purpose, and it's super funny. So.
It's hilarious. My wife wondered, she's like, "Why are you part of that group?" It's like, well, Reese just liked my comment.
We love Fire Iron Frenzy. They're great. We got lucky to open up for them in 2015. We opened up a show for them, so that's cool. Yeah.
I've never met them before, but I have a crush on Lenore. She's really pretty. She's really pretty.
That's funny.
Send a video to her. Tell her.
She might be watching this. That's cool. All right, she knows already. She'll interview about it. She's not shy. She'll interview you and ask you. So you think I'm attractive? She would do that.
Cool. Send her my way.
Next time she comes to town, David will make you take her to the airport.
That's true. I take her to the airport sometimes. I'm her Uber sometimes.
So like, what do you guys use? Like DistroKid or TuneCore or CD Baby? What do you guys do to get
DistroKid's awesome, man. Those guys are really sweet. I actually had a problem uploading some part of our EP to it, and I called them in 2 minutes. He answered the phone. I was like, "Hey, I'm having trouble with this." They were really responsive, really nice people. I had no problem ever with seeing our stats, seeing our results, seeing how much money we have coming in. They're just super simple, super quick. And they're the only place that I knew that would let you put lyrics on your songs on iTunes and Spotify and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we looked at a bunch of places, and that just made the most sense in terms of a business aspect. It was better cost and better distribution and time.
Yeah, I remember that. I was calling at 3 in the morning and be like, "Hey, should we do TuneCore? Should we do
By the way, Anthony and I, because we work full-time jobs, a lot of the times we end up talking is 2, 3 in the morning. Just because we can't sleep, we got to keep working, and we do that. Hey man, should we do DistroKid? It's 2:30 in the morning. That's
I'm up all night. I'm waiting for 6 o'clock to happen so I can call.
You're like, why are you guys sleeping? It's 5 in the morning, man. Of course we're sleeping.
Do you guys use anything like Hootsuite or anything like
no
apps
at all?
Nothing like that. No. Wish, but no.
I know that they have a free version I use quite often, but there's some other things that they can do. It's kind of nice to be able to post across all of them.
Yeah.
What was that thing that when you said post across, the first thing that came to mind was Ryan from The Office?
Yeah.
What was it, Woof?
Oh yeah, it's a woof. It does everything, all from one button. What? Oh.
What do you guys do for your merch? Because I know a lot of people are doing a bunch of different things. I know one of the bands like Perfect Score sells lighters. Who was I looking at? Some of them had cassettes, even.
We have them.
I mean, we're trying to keep like relevant. I mean, but we're not like making like obscure things like Heart Like War tampons or something like that. We're making like.
We do have an obscure item though, the bottle caps.
We
have
really
unique,
cool
not
chick.
obscure. Different.
Unique and obscure.
Nah, this one super cool chick made us these
Yeah.
like buttons, but they were like took like 4 of them, and I'm in the band.
Yeah, they're
And,
awesome.
like they're just like these little bottle cap things. She like hand painted herself.
She hand painted them. She like hand glued like the little clasps
Yeah,
on the
everyone
back.
in Japan like love those, man.
Everybody
we
bought
barely
them.
have any left now. Like those things are
Yeah,
like
they're like actual bottle caps, actually used, and she stripped them up and painted them all and put our logo on them. They look really cool. Yeah.
You know, like, the best advice on merch I ever got was like, don't go out there and get like shot glasses and stuff like that. Don't, I mean, do the standard the standard stuff like
t-shirts. We have a cassette on a
CDs.
t-shirt.
I mean, do the stuff that you know everybody's selling, and don't try to do any of the weird stuff because you're gonna come home with that stuff all the time
Yeah.
on tour. Nobody wants the weird, wacky stuff. They want there's a reason T-shirts sell so well at shows,
Yeah.
and not to mention now somebody's putting it on their body and they're advertising for you. So now they're a billboard.
And our CDs
Sorry
are still
to all of
selling.
our fans. You're not a billboard in my eyes, I promise.
I used to be in this band called Take Our Chances like in 2012 or something like that.
Take your chances.
And that was horrible. But I was in that band and we were on tour. And like every time we went to a new show, there was another band that had like some really obscure like item. But like one band, I think it was I can't remember. We played a show in like Bonsall or something like that, and they had like a weed grinder, but it was a weed grinder with their band name on it. And I was just like, oh my
weird.
god! Like our drummer was a huge fighter at the time, so like he bought it. and he was like, oh my god, this is like the best
What?
marketing tool ever. Because
That's the best
He was
marketing
like,
tool.
and then another band, like there was this one pop band that like pop last like. It reminded me of 303. Like in 303, like the Millionaires type of era, they had like their own condoms. And I was like, whoa, that is so cool. Like, I mean, it wasn't written on the condom, but it was on the packaging of it. And I was like, dude, that is really catchy. Like,
Theory of a Dead Man did that.
and
they passed it out at Best Buy.
Like,
and I knew a band that did beard oil, like oil for your beard. It was like really weird. That was probably the weirdest thing
Is
I've
that where
seen.
you're strong?
No, I was just thinking about that. I was like, that's like a strong thing, but no.
Coffee, bands do coffee.
I love like those random like
Yeah.
because it makes you like saying like, hey, I'm probably not gonna listen to your band, but your shit is really awesome. Like,
I think we should come out with a patch. I think people have been asking for patches, and that's old school.
nah,
But
man, we
people
need
are-
like our own brand of like whiskey or like our own brand of like.
I've seen a lot of beer.
We need some like Heart Like War Play-Doh or something like.
Play-Doh. What about coffee, man? I love coffee.
Nah,
I've seen
that's-
coffee.
Yeah, cold brews, man. People love this.
I like the bands that have like their own brew, like their own their own
Cold
like
brew.
no like I think the day we did our photo shoot for our album, he bought like a No Effects.
Yeah.
No effects.
What did you buy?
Me?
Yeah.
Drunken punk and drublic version of the
Yeah,
beer.
you-
Oh no, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Pumpkin Drublic beer or whatever. Yeah, I bought that, and because I knew it was going out because they had just done their. They had, that company, was it Stone Brewing? I think just had removed them from their list because of some comments made on a stage in
I
a city
remember
that
that.
they shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're trying to we'll find more creative ways to
Yeah.
get like our merch up.
Yeah, sure.
It's a pink can. I do love that. It's on the counter still. It's not going anywhere.
No, did you drink it? Did you drink
I
it?
drank it. It was okay.
Yeah,
We need to look into the condom thing.
we still have stickers. We still have T-shirts. We still have bottle cap pins. A few. Still have pins, stuff like that.
CDs
Posters.
still.
We do
Huh?
CDs, yeah.
We do CDs.
We'll never. I like the idea of being able to buy a CD. Like,
Yeah.
man, I have like so many CDs in my room because it's just like that's something that's a dying art that I want to keep alive.
Anybody could download anything, but our CD has linear notes. It has things that you're not going to get on a download.
Yeah.
Bonus fact. So.
I like the idea of being able to hold
Yeah.
something in your hand. Makes it feel much more real. Like when for instance, like when Blink-182 released like Neighborhoods, you know, that thing
So
was
here,
leaked
Anthony.
on like so many different websites, and I didn't listen to it until I actually had the CD in my hand. Like those leaks were out for months before this album came out, but I wanted to have it in my hand because it just felt that much more special, and I feel like that's something I don't want to ever take for granted. That's something that I never want to like remove from our like inventory and stuff.
Yeah, I really love like the tactile thing of having something like this is from that band, and you know, t-shirts they wear out or whatever, but like
Right.
for some odd reason the album, or you know, a lot of people have moved on to kind of like vinyl, like they won't even listen
Yeah.
to it. I think there's like some crazy statistic where like 80% of people who buy vinyl don't even listen to it.
Oh no, I do. I buy two. I have like 9 versions of the Blink-182 Untitled album on vinyl because I have them in different colors, different variants, and then I have extras of those so I can listen to them.
No, but
I buy if it's an album that I really love, like I'll buy a couple of them just so I can listen to one and then save the other 2.
I think true fans, vinyl fans, they will listen to the vinyl. I definitely listen to my vinyl that I collect as well. But I agree with you. I think the majority though probably is like they'll collect the vinyl, they'll probably frame it on their wall or put it in a drawer to have it, and then they'll just listen on Spotify and use their phone. I think that's more common for like everybody else. But if you're a true vinyl fan like us, well, you'll listen to the vinyl. That's how I feel.
There's some I don't touch.
Yeah.
Like I have a copy of the Upsides from the Wonder Years, like a
Yeah.
test pressing of that, and like I wouldn't even look at that, like with like harsh lighting. So like
Keeps it in the dark.
I'm pretty picky about that.
How do you listen to vinyl on an iPhone? Can I do that?
They gotta invent an app for that, right? You can just like
They
scan
actually
the
have
vinyl.
something that like.
Don't tell me they actually do.
They probably do.
Well, they have these toys.
Oh yeah, no,
basically
it
that
goes
run-
on.
Oh,
It sits
yeah.
on top and it spins around the top and it Bluetooth sends to your phone.
Yep.
Yeah.
And actually, those things have always been known to
Abs-
destroy the crap out of vinyl. By the way, so
We should
you're
do
putting
that.
so
This is
much more
sponsored
weight
by-
on it. Like I don't listen to vinyl personally, just not because I say anything against the medium. I don't have a CD player in my car, so I don't listen to CDs anymore. Everything's on my phone. It's all downloadable. But at the same time, I mean, I still stand by the same sentiment as them. And if it's a band that I really like, it's music that I really like, I'm gonna go buy it. I mean, one way or another, I will pay for it because I'm not gonna sit there and just gyp somebody out of the work that they've done.
Yeah.
There's actually a really good old TED talk on that about, I don't want to call it panhandling, but there was, I think it's called like the 8 foot tall woman or something like that.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, she talked about how she's like, she would never put a price on her CDs at shows, and she'd say, if just pay what you think it's worth, and that way she's getting it out there to people. Sometimes people can't afford it, and they want to have something from you. But other times people will come up and be like, you guys put on a great show. Here's 20. Don't need anything else. I have a couple bands that every time I see them, I do something similar with them. Like I pay more than what the merch is worth that they're selling me because I know they've got to get to their next tour date. I know they've got to find a place to crash. And I've even one of those bands. I'm not going to say names here right now, but I've offered to stay at my apartment, and they did.
Yeah.
They took me up on it. They're great people.
Yeah.
Actually, do you mind if I say who it is?
I don't care.
Patent pending.
I was like, wait, we live together. How do I not know about
This
this?
is in Michigan.
Michigan.
Patent pending. They're a great band out of New York City or Long Island, and I've just been a fan of them since 2008, I think. Yeah, and every time I see them, they remember who I am, and I hang out with them for a good while whenever I get to see them. So.
Yeah, that reminds me of like when I was on my 2016 tour. I didn't spend one hotel because the whole MXPX fan club community that I grew up with, they housed me in every state. So everywhere I traveled, every city, every state that I went to, I knew an MXPX fan that housed me that tour. And it was just like amazing. Like when you have people that are passionate about the music, everyone really does go a step ahead and helps people out, and it's really cool. Like I had never thought that was gonna happen to me, and like it was just so nice to just see that in the music community, that there's still people out there that want to connect and want to commune and buy a CD and come to your show. And it's still amazing to me, actually. So when people buy our music, it's just really humbling, and they actually say, oh, we love it, or I can't wait to see you live. It's just really humbling. So
I actually forgot what the question you asked was. I think
I
the answer
know,
was
but
so
we spin it
long. I
up.
forgot.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's fine. We can tie it in. We can tie it in
I
somehow.
forgot what question you guys asked.
Yeah.
Well, you guys had just talked about kind of like, basically giving to an artist what
Yeah.
you think it's worth.
Yeah.
Like, have you guys ever thought about getting into like Patreon? I have a bunch of friends, I think if you watch one of the earlier podcasts of RKBC, they do a bunch of great things online. They're probably one of the best guys I know.
Cool.
They work more online almost than their own music. So, and they do Patreon. Have you guys
cool.
ever thought about that?
What do you think about
I
funding?
saw that, but
I've
I
heard
don't
of it.
believe in that kind of stuff. Like,
No?
it's more of like a, hey, you want something? I'll give it to you for free, man. Don't trip. Like, I kind of have like this whole mentality because I see those things. I see bands do that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, $20 and you'll get a call from me. Or you'll get and I'm like, dude, just call me. Here's my number.
Yeah.
Like, we'll fucking chat up about Scrubs or something. Like, we don't need anything. Like I don't think we need to like get. I sound like a complete jerk saying that, but like I know bands do it and that's great, But just me personally, I feel like You know, I feel like why charge people to do something that 10 years ago wouldn't have been accepted in the local scene?
Well, I think the whole reason for it though is to give them a way to be able to
Help.
give you money
And support.
Like I support RKBC. Like you know, we're just good friends anyway from college even. But I just like, hey, I'll give them like $10 a month. It's not a big deal. Like out of my bank account. And so like I know a lot of fans of certain bands and artists are like, you know, I want to support these guys because I love them and I want them to continue what they're doing. I don't really care if he's going to send me the note that he's going to hand write or whatever it is once a month, but I'll get in on that low tier just so that I can say, hey, I support these guys and I want them to continue making music. So I think that's where it's more coming from. They don't, not more like, I know how you feel though. You're like, well, I don't want to like feel like I'm selling myself for just these weird things. Like, hey. Once a month, you can meet me at McDonald's.
Right.
You know, something ridiculous.
Give me five. Give me a $5.
Exactly. You can go to the movies with me.
I never jumped on that. The only thing I jumped on actually, the only time I've ever supported like those GoFundMe things, it was like
Kickstarters and stuff.
Kickstarters. I never did those, but actually I did one.
Do those.
I did one, and it was for Little Dicky. I like that guy was coming out with a new album, which ended up being a professional rapper.
Yeah.
And I like donated to that. Like I became like a member of his thing, and I donated to that, and like.
Yeah,
I got to meet him, and it was great. I had a drink with him. It was probably the best day of my entire life.
I was gonna say I only donated to Kickstarter 3 times: Supertones, Fire and Frenzy, and MXPX. And even those bands are very intentional. They've been bands for they were a band for like 20, 25 years, and they've only asked for money like once or twice in their whole career. So like, I think it's something that's new for sure, and it's something that we're not closed off to, but it's not something we're looking for right now.
I think it's one of those things you really have to have. You have to have a solid following. It's weird to say this, but like I've been part of one before. On it, like indirectly, I was a musician playing with somebody that was doing one, and I thought it was kind of hokey at the time because we really didn't have a following. We didn't have anybody that was backing us or anything like that, and he was hoping to get like a windfall backer that's going to just want to come in and do it all. And I was like, no, that's not how it really works. Like, it's about getting those people that are willing to donate $5-10 just to get the CD and just pre-ordering it, which that's good, but you really do need to have a following to be able to do that. And so it really is one of those things as a young band. I mean, we're fortunate that we have the jobs that we do and we're able to make ends meet and live in Southern California and not break bank. But at the same time, like when you're trying to start up, the best thing you can do is do it yourself. I mean, that's really the best thing you can out there. I mean, get software, learn how to work with it, because that's going to make you intelligent when you do go into a studio. If you just go into a studio and you listen to what somebody's going to tell you what to do, you could be steered in a completely wrong direction. I mean, I will say that's probably where Anthony and I first butt heads, is that the first time we recorded, I recorded my screaming actually by myself at my apartment, and I did it the way I would normally do it. He got it, and he was just like, dude, can you do it in one take? I'm like, all right, I think you're overestimating my skill right now. But we ended up getting it done the way we needed it. But I mean, we both know the software, but we know it differently, and we make it work differently for ourselves. But because we're able to have that conversation, we both know it, we're able to figure a way out to make it work. And the song turned out amazing. So
and if people want to support us, heartlikewar.com. We do have a shop, and if you can purchase a CD on there, a T-shirt, that's what's going to help us out right now. Be good. That'd be awesome.
Awesome. Well, like if you guys want to just wrap it up and plug your guys' websites and all the social media and good stuff, go for it.
Do you want to like take turns like splitting that off? Like I'll say the website, you say the handle. Or
Instagram, Heart Like War. That's message us. We'll like your pictures.
Right.
We'll go back 52 weeks ago and we'll like some of your early pictures of you and your grandma.
So it's really easy. We made it really easy for everybody. So if you put YouTube / or Instagram / or Twitter / it's always going to be Heart Like War. So that's our URL. That's our address. Heartlikewar.com. We'll link you to all those. So heartlikewar.com is active. It's got all our links on there. Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We're all active on those accounts, and it's all there.
And I'll have all these links both in the audio podcast and also in the YouTube. So.
Right. So if you want to pick up Start Over EP, that's the latest, and you can totally do that on our website.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Cool. Awesome.
And now that's when they stop playing.
Awesome.